One day I was listening to the Tiger Belly podcast when the topic came to the TikTok trend Treadwife. Comedian Bobby Lee joked that he needs a treadwife. Then another host, Kalila, says that actually many treadwives on TikTok are Mormon. Then I did a little search and found out that TikTok wives such as Hannah Newman and Nara Smith do have connections to Mormonism. Suddenly it just explained so many things to me. I actually haven't seen any of those treadwife videos myself, but I heard many young women talk about it. At the beginning, I was confused about why this fashionably dressed young Western woman would embrace traditional gender roles, reflecting traditional values for women, which align with aspects of Mormon or other conservative Christian teachings. Because for a woman from the third world, like me, there was a stereotype for me when I was a teenager, that unlike the super patriarchal and misogynistic system in China, girls in first world countries are way more feministic and ambitious to climb the ladder and break the glass ceiling than us. And the United States, of course, is the light tower of the feminist movement. I saw that the women there knew to reach either egalitarianism or feminism. There have to be more women to devote themselves to the workplace, to compete with men, to be in more decision-making positions, and so on, rather than stay at home and justify this as women conquer the world by conquering men.
Imagine 15 years ago, the children from a Mormon family were likely to be bullied at school. But see now, these Mormon wives make tons of bucks by just showing Mormon lifestyles, which is surreal for me. They insist on self-made food. They can even make butter by themselves, only if they have direct access to cow titties. You call this wifehood, I call this craftsmanship. This craftsmanship spreads peer pressure indirectly, implicating that you wives who are now lurking around me should feel guilty when you buy some ready-made food on your way from work for your children and husband. Now I understand this familiarity. Reminds me of when I was watching a documentary of Amish in an isolated community years ago. But compared to the Amish documentary I watched back then, something has changed. This time they make some more compromise to capitalism. They wear fancy high heels. They style their hair. They wear Lululemon to the gym as clever camouflage to attract TikTok lookers to refresh that outdated and almost negative image of the traditional wife. Seeing these religions now use pretty women as camouflage to promote traditional gender roles, and such videos going viral to make me question if this is a signal of regression of the feminist movement.
In my opinion, this phenomenon is not simply a signal of a regression, but more complicated. The thing that these women are doing is just a routine of backstabbing the feminists, who actively supported gender equality for decades. It's just a déjà vu of what happened in the 60s and 80s and even earlier. Without women like Simone Weil, Louise Weiss, Alice Paul, and many others, it is very doubtful whether these TikTok treadwives and their supporters would argue that it is their absolute free will to wear tight clothes and heavy makeup, to dye hair blonde, to give birth to children at home without taking epidural, and to stand behind the camera to promote so-called fundamental but actually misogynistic values.
Aside from feminists and supporters of misogynistic values, there is another significant group of women I like to call the none of my business group. For example, I once heard a woman argue that people just enjoy voyeurism, like watching others live in ways that break from the mainstream. Honestly, I don't completely disagree with her. I have used that phrase myself more times than I can count. But I also worry that this none of my business mindset could come back to haunt us someday. Deep down, I feel like brushing things off as not my concern is a way of taking progress for granted. Maybe even being a little hypocritical and willfully naive. It's almost funny though, when you think about it. It's hard enough to get all women to stand together. So expecting everyone to be on the same page is probably a stretch.
Just in case many people don't know, I did a tiny research about the backlash of the patriarchal system. As of 2024, 13 states in the United States have enacted total abortion bans, making the procedure illegal, except in very limited circumstances. such as threats to the life of the mother. Additionally, 28 states have implemented abortion bans based on gestational age, meaning they restrict abortion after a certain number of weeks into pregnancy. Some states, for instance, ban abortion as early as 6 weeks. In contrast, 9 states and Washington, D.C. do not impose gestational limits on abortion, maintaining broader access to the procedure.
However, watching all these critics from every corner of the internet, TreadWife supporters, feminists, leftists, right-wingers, I suddenly feel like it's pointless to argue. It seems like people are communicating, but they are probably not even on the same channel most of the time. Every word they say comes from their own programs, and these programs aren't compatible with each other. Maybe eventually one of them is really wrong, but in the end, people are just prisoners of their own experiences.